What's up YouTube, this is Gemini Jonny back again with another compilation of creepy TikToks to make you question everything. This is day 22 of our TikToktober series where I'm taking you through the weirdest, creepiest, and most disturbing footage I can find. So without further ado, let's jump right in.
Divine Order of the Royal Arms of the Great 11, or the Blackburn Cult. May Otis Blackburn declared herself the High Priestess. May described the key elements of the new religion to her followers. She believed the fourth dimension was regulated by the Tree of Life, and this tree would allow everyone to achieve eternal life. But this tree was damaged by Adam and Eve when they took the forbidden fruit, so the cycle of eternity was broken, and she was the only one who could fix it. Once the tree healed, then a divine royal order would form, and this would be the Royal Arms of the Great 11, which would be 11 women, including May, and all of them would become the superhuman rulers of the universe. After the apocalypse, they would all perish, but the Tree of Life would resurrect them from the dead. Then they would be granted huge marble palaces in Hollywood, where they would live, and each of the 11 women would also have 11 husbands each. Wow, it's just shocking to think people could fall for this.
Right? No one's gonna die, the end of the world's coming, but everyone's getting 11 husbands too.
Yeah, in a mansion in Hollywood.
Yeah, right.
Because after the apocalypse, Hollywood will still be there.
My Haunted Hotel is a 400-year-old haunted attraction which earned the title of the UK's most haunted hotel. The building was constructed in 1622 and now opens its doors to guests who are brave enough to spend the night. 16 cameras are scattered throughout the building, and just recently, they managed to catch something chilling.
I mean, yeah, if you put a pentagram on the floor, like, stuff's gonna happen.
A ghostly apparition quickly darted past the window. This entity appeared to be glowing as it moved from right to left. It's also worth noting that this is a second-story window, so it's not possible for anyone to simply walk by.
That's weird.
The owners of the hotel are stumped and can't explain what was caught, leading them to believe that this is proof of the many spirits that... A woman named Jen purchased an old farm property and soon found out that it was extremely haunted. Her new home became a hotspot for paranormal activity, and a dark being began to appear around the property. In the upstairs window, a shadow figure quickly walked by. This dark, ominous figure filled Jen with fear, leaving her frozen in place. Until this day, she has no idea who or what this was.
Nope.
On a TikTok account that no longer exists, a video was posted of what appears to be a haunted doll. One day, while a young girl was recording herself playing with her favorite doll, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Until suddenly, the young girl hears something that caught her attention. Then this happened.
So, Kellyanna, what?
As soon as the young girl looked to her left, the doll can be seen turning its head to look at her. The girl immediately noticed this and quickly ran to tell her mom. This slight movement is chilling, as there's no denying that something caused this doll's head to move. Well, after this discovery, they might as well toss that thing in a blender.
That part. Get rid of it. Why do people... I don't understand why people find, at least in movies, I don't know, maybe not in real life, but people find haunted things and then just... They're like, oh, I gotta be the one to take care of it. No, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Take it to the dump. Drop it to the bottom of the ocean. Set it on fire. I know they do that in some of these movies, but do it anyway. I don't know. Ooh, take it to a church. That's what you should do. Take it to a church. Ask a priest to handle it. Be like, hey, I'm gonna leave this with you. Don't let it out of your sight. Thank you. You're doing the Lord's work.
The military is indeed aware of UFOs. On August 15, 1950, Nick Mariana, the general manager of the minor league baseball team Rest Falls Electric, and his secretary Virginia Ronig were conducting a stadium inspection before a game. During their observation, Mariana noticed a bright flash and suddenly witnessed two bright silvery rotating objects flying by. Reacting quickly, Mariana grabbed his 16mm movie camera from his car and captured 16 seconds of footage of the UFOs. This film was publicly shown and received significant acclaim as the first ever recorded footage of UFOs. However, when the military became aware of the film, Mariana was convinced to hand it over for examination. Unfortunately, upon its return, the military dismissed the footage as reflections of a fighter jet, and 35 frames that clearly depicted rotating disc-shaped UFOs were missing. The absence of this crucial footage was corroborated by individuals from the public who had viewed the original film, leading to widespread speculation about potential hidden motives or information being withheld by the military. This incident has raised questions and fueled curiosity about what the military may be concealing regarding UFOs.
I mean, I think we all know at this point that something's going on in the sky. We don't know exactly what. I've long believed in UFOs. I've seen weird lights in the sky myself. Or I've long believed in aliens, I should say. But for decades and decades, the government lied to us about the existence of these things. And then a few years back, all of a sudden, they decided to tell us. I just always thought the timing was weird. So that's my question, is why are they telling us now? Let me know in the comments.
Have you ever heard of the Filipino urban legend of the dancing ballerina? The legend of the dancing ballerina is a popular urban legend in the Philippines. According to the story, there is a haunted ballerina figurine that is believed to have a mysterious and supernatural ability to move and dance on its own. The ballerina figurine is exquisitely crafted, with delicate features and a captivating presence. It is said to possess an enchantment or curse that allows it to come to life and perform graceful ballet moves when no one is watching. The legend typically revolves around an old antique shop or a collector's home where the ballerina figurine is displayed. Witnesses claim to have seen the ballerina moving or twirling by itself, sometimes accompanied by haunting music or the sound of ballet slippers on a wooden floor. Some believe that the figurine is inhabited by the spirit of a deceased dancer who yearns to continue her passion for dance even in the afterlife. Others suggest that the figurine is cursed or possessed by a malevolent force. The legend of the dancing ballerina serves as a cautionary tale, warning people about the dangers of acquiring cursed or haunted objects. It taps into the fear of the unknown and the supernatural, as well as our fascination with the world of ballet and the beauty of dance.
You know what would solve that problem? A blender. Just throwing that out there. You can have it. It's free.
This man has been locked in this machine for 70 years. Paul Alexander has spent his entire life locked inside this metal canister, and if he ever leaves, he will die. When Paul was a kid, he was diagnosed with a disease called polio, causing him to be totally paralyzed. And this machine allows him to breathe, so if he left it for 1 second, he would pass away. Amazingly, he still lives life as best as he can, and he has friends who visit him regularly.
That's cool. I would visit him.
Have you ever heard of the Vietnamese urban legend of the ghostly wedding? The legend of the ghostly wedding is a haunting Vietnamese tale that revolves around the wedding ceremony that takes place in the spirit realm. It is a story that combines elements of love, tragedy, and the supernatural. According to the legend, the ghostly wedding is said to occur in the realm of spirits or ghosts. It involves ghostly brides and grooms who are unable to find peace and move on due to unresolved love or unfinished business in their lives. These spirits come together to partake in a wedding ceremony, seeking closure and a chance to be united in eternal matrimony. The ghostly wedding is said to be a sorrowful and ethereal event. The ceremony takes place in a mythical setting, often described as a moonlit grove or an otherworldly landscape. Ghostly music, ethereal decorations, and shimmering lights set the stage for the solemn union. During the wedding, the ghostly brides and grooms exchange vows and profess their eternal love. It is said that their love is so strong that it transcends the boundaries between life and death. The ceremony is both a celebration of their love and a plea for redemption or release from their earthly attachments. Witnessing a ghostly wedding is believed to be a rare occurrence. Those who happen upon the event may experience a mixture of emotions, including awe, sadness, and a sense of ephemeral nature of existence. Some versions of the legend suggest that those who witness the ghostly wedding may be granted a glimpse into the realm of spirits and gain a deeper understanding of love, loss, and the mysteries of the afterlife. The legend of the ghostly wedding serves as a poignant reminder of the power of love and the longing for resolution in the realm of the supernatural. It reflects the belief that the bonds of love can transcend death and that some spirits remain tethered to the earthly realm until they find closure or fulfillment.
Is it ethereal? I've always said ethereal. I'm not sure if he said it right or if I've always been right. Anyway, I zoned out there for a second and missed about a third of that there in the middle because I was distracted by the way he said that and if I've been saying it wrong all of my life. So it's a new thing to have anxiety about. Other than that, that was crazy. I don't know, kind of cool that they've, dead brides and grooms have a place to go. It seems like a small populace, though, of people who died, like, the day of being a bride or a groom. Because you're only a bride and a groom that day. So you'd have to die, like, on your wedding day, I think. I don't know. Is that how that works? I don't know anything.
Behind me is an x-ray of 34 nails inside of Mr. Chen Liu's skull. He was killed with a nail gun, he was shot in the head and the neck. And as you can see, this x-ray is gruesome. Mr. Liu's body was found severely decomposed by 2 children in 2008. His body was found in Sydney, Australia. Police and medical examiners said that Chen was probably dead for about 12 days before he was found. The unit investigating the murder said they have never seen anything so gruesome with a nail gun before. In fact, many working on this case claim that they've never even seen anyone murdered by a nail gun before. The victim was alone in Australia for 8 years. He had no family. The crazy part of this is no arrests have been made since 2008. All they have is the model of a car, which was a blue Range Rover Sport. That is all the information they have. That was the car that dumped Mr. Liu's body into the river. The victim was only 27 or 28 years old. I've looked for updated articles on anything I could find on this. Most of them I found are from 2009, so his murderers still walk free today. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below.
Dang. At first, when they first pulled the picture up, I thought he was going to say that the guy survived. And I was like, how do you... Obviously, we all know the story. And that's a pretty crappy way to go. I would imagine probably after like number 5 or 6, you're probably dead. So, at least there's that. Silver linings. Sorry. R.I.P. to that guy.
This woman killed her husband and made him into stew. But that's not even the most shocking part of this case. Catherine Knight was an Australian abattoir worker. Her early years were horrific, as her dad was an aggressive alcoholic. Her dad abused her mother, and Catherine was also SA'd by multiple family members. She would go on to meet David Kellett, who had a similar personality.
I was trying to figure out, like, her face looked messed up in that last one, but I think she was just ugly.
To her dad.
Sucks.
He also had alcohol problems and was violent. However, he had very much met his match with Catherine. On their wedding night, she strangled him over a disagreement. Surprisingly, the pair did actually have a marriage that lasted 10 years, and they had 2 children together. However, David had many affairs. This part of the case absolutely stunned me. Shockingly, when Catherine found out about his infidelity, she actually took their 12-month-old daughter and put her on railway tracks. Thankfully, a train never came and the baby survived. Now, Catherine was placed in a psychiatric hospital for a while and did make threats to kill. Although David did briefly take her back when she was discharged, they did eventually break up. In 1986, she met a new David Saunders. He quickly moved in with her and her daughters. However, their relationship quickly became toxic too. Massive trigger warning here for animals.
No.
During one particular argument with David, as a warning to him, she slit the throat of his puppy. Shockingly, he stayed with her and they had a daughter together. The final straw for David was when she tried to kill him with a pair of scissors. She then met a new man called John and had a child with him, but she quickly cheated on him with a man called John Price. In her relationship with John Price, she would continue her violent and malicious behaviour. She framed him for stealing things from his company and he got sacked. In 2000, they had a particularly bad argument where she tried to stab him. He took out a restraining order in order to try and protect himself. However, in a horrible foreshadowing for events to come, he actually ended up telling people that if he was found dead, it would be Catherine's fault. On February the 29th, 2000, he came home, shortly followed by Catherine. When John went to bed, Catherine grabbed a butcher's knife and stabbed him 37 times. She dragged his body downstairs and hung him from a meat hook. She then cooked his body parts with potatoes and gravy, but this still wouldn't be the most shocking part of the case. After her meal, she took some pills and passed out. Police arrived at the house when it was reported that John failed to turn up for work. They found an absolutely hideous scene. Now, Catherine claimed to have no memory of what happened. At this point, police discovered containers of the human stew with names on. They realised that Catherine's plan was to feed John to her children. For killing John, for the first time in Australian history, a woman was given life in prison without parole. Catherine remains in prison to this day and denies all responsibility.
How do you deny responsibility? They found human stew in your fridge. Ugh. One of my favorite modern philosophers has just an apt quote that I think fits the situation. She belong to the streets. You know, and for a second I was gonna feel bad about calling her ugly earlier. Then I watched the rest of that video. I don't feel bad for that. She's crazy. She's evil. Not so bad. She's ugly and evil. Pick a struggle.
Encounter with a witch in an Indian village. There is a history of witchcraft from where I am, and there are numerous witch stories and incidents from centuries. The one I'm about to tell is a real one that happened with me. So here I go. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I used to play with my buddy in a large field behind my house. It was winter when the terrifying incident occurred. The sun was setting down at 5:30 p.m., casting an eerie glow over the surroundings. My buddy and I had wandered quite far from home, and a thick layer of fog began to blanket the area. Knowing it was time to head back, we started walking, hoping to find the distant lights of our neighborhood. After a few minutes, we stumbled upon a small area filled with bamboo trees, a place we had seen before. In the middle of this eerie grove was a small pond. We grew uneasy as we realized this was in the opposite direction from our home. Confused and frightened, we turned around and ventured forward, our vision obscured by the fog. We walked carefully through the dried-up winter rice fields, barely able to see anything beyond our feet. Suddenly, we encountered an old lady on our path. She was hunched over, clutching a dusty cloth that resembled a bag. Her old sari was torn and worn, and she appeared to be a beggar. We approached her, thinking she might be trying to convey something to us. But as she uttered incomprehensible gibberish, a really bad, rotten smell filled the air. Looking up at her, we saw her eyes glowing with a sinister yellow-red hue, and she began to laugh maniacally. Overwhelmed by fear, we sprinted away, desperate to escape her clutches. After what felt like an eternity, we finally are homes. Trembling, I recounted the horrifying encounter to my family. My grandmother's face turned pale, and she hurriedly sprinkled Ganga water, holy water, on me, muttering prayers under her breath. She explained that we had come face to face with a daini, a witch. The next day, I fell gravely ill with a high fever that lasted for a week. To make matters worse, my friend contracted a severe case of pox shortly afterward, his condition far more agonizing than mine.
Let's talk about one of the creepiest kids' toys ever to exist, the Furby. These toys are super popular in the late 90s and early 2000s. But what made them so creepy? Well, if you take one apart, it looks just like this. One of the creepiest things about Furbies is that they had a power store inside of them, so removing the batteries did nothing. Unless you laid them down like they were sleeping, they were still going to talk to you at 3 a.m. and give you night terrors. To add on to this, if you ignore the Furby for too long, it actually changes its voice. So it sounds kind of guttural and demonic. Also, the Furby's language is called Furbish, which really sounds like they're speaking in tongues when you hear them. They also scream "feed me" in the middle of the night too. Let me show you a creepy example of a Furby toy. Check this out. Now imagine waking up to that at 2 or 3 a.m. as a child on top of that. Also, there's somebody on Craigslist that turns your Furbies into huge Furbies, which, this is even scarier than the original. Imagine this thing going off at 2 or 3 a.m. I wouldn't be able to sleep for the rest of my life. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below and what you guys want me to talk about next.
170 pounds, I think that is. That's pretty, it seems pretty cheap. What's that, like 200 real dollars? I'm just kidding. Come on. Come on.
He was all alone while working his shift when he hears this. A man that works as a custodian at his school explains that him and his coworkers kept hearing things during their shifts while alone in the school. But one day, he received a horrifying video from one of his coworkers. While alone in the shift, he begins to hear something coming from the end of the hallway. What sounds like a weeping child can be heard, almost like it's walking by. If no one was in the school that day, then just what exactly...
Whoa. That was crazy. That one was really creepy because that looked just like my high school. So I'm sure I'm not the only person who went to a high school that was blue and gold and had some kind of animal print, paw print around there. But still, weird. I wonder if my high school was haunted. The theater was supposed to be. Supposedly the rafters in the theater. I don't know. But there you have it, folks. That's day 22 in the books. We did it. We've done it. We're doing it some more. If you're enjoying the series so far, you can check out the entire TikToktober series playlist in the description below, as well as the original video. And until next time, which is tomorrow, peace.